Hey, it's James Taylor here. I was reading a fascinating story the other day about the great investor Warren Buffett, and it was some advice that he was giving to his personal airline pilot for the past 10 years, a guy by the name of Mike Flint. And Mike was asking Warren Buffett how best to set goals and how to have a focus on those goals, to achieve those goals. And the advice that Warren gave to Mike, I think, is extremely valuable for us as creatives, and I want to pass it on to you just now. You see, as creatives, often the ideation stage, the coming up with new ideas, isn't the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge, often for very creative people, is the evaluation stage. Working out, is this an idea, or are these ideas worth pursuing? Which ideas are worth pursuing? So Warren Buffett's advice to Mike Flint is the advice I'd like to pass on to you just now to help you if you're trying to evaluate which ideas to pursue. So this is the exercise. I want you to get a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, I want you to write out your 25 top goals for your creative career over the next 3, 5, or 10 years. So 25 goals, write those down on that piece of paper. Once you've done that, the next step is to circle the 5 most important goals in that list of 25. So that'll take a little bit of time thinking about which of those 5 are the most important, the ones you're most passionate and you're committed, absolutely committed to achieving. At this stage, you're going to have 2 lists. You're going to have the list of the 5 most important goals, and then the 20 of these other goals, which are very, they're important to you as well. Now, at this stage, Warren asked Mike to do exactly the same exercise. And Warren asked Mike, so how do you see all these different goals now? And Mike said, well, what I'll do is I'm going to focus on these 5 goals, and then anytime I have in between or at other times, or once I do some of these other things, I'm going to then look at the other 20 and I'll try and fit some of these other, because they're still priorities for me, but they're just not as high priority as these top 5. At this stage, Warren Buffett says, no, you're getting it all wrong. The 5 goals that you just set there are your most important goals, and the 20 goals that are there are your avoid at all costs goals. So it's not that you're going to try and do all these things. You are basically going to completely ignore that list of 20 until you've achieved that list of 5. That's the key distinction I want to get through to just now. Actually pulls on another thing by a friend of mine called Derek Sivers, who, great writer. I highly encourage you to check out his blog. And Derek has this idea which is also very, very applicable to us as creatives, which he says, if you're thinking up, you have these different options as ideas. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. If it's not a 9 or a 10, it's a 0. You have to just start thinking about that in terms of how you're prioritizing your time. And Warren Buffett spoke about that very eloquently in his a bit of advice that he gave to Mike Flint. Final thing I'm going to leave you with, after you've done this exercise, I highly encourage you to check out another book by a guy called McKeown. It's called Essentialism, and it just kind of pulls on these themes of basically just focus, about really focusing on the essential, what is most important. So hopefully that is useful to you. Get out there, go create. Hi, it's James here. Did you enjoy that episode? If so, there's 2 things that we can do to continue the journey together. Firstly, I would love if you to subscribe, give us 5 stars and leave a comment. Secondly, if you go to jamestaylor.me and enter your name and email address, I'm going to send you some free goodies all around creativity and innovation. Look forward to continuing the journey together.